Hi everybody, my name is Pedro Cruz. I'm the Youth Development Program Coordinator here at IBA, and we have an amazing event planned for you today. Before we get started, please take a second to like, comment, and share the event. Let your friends know about it. Let the community know about it. And just take a second real quick to like, comment, and share. This event that we have planned for you today is titled Whispers of Legacies. The youth here at our program have been working hard on discovering the stories of their family, uncovering the stories of their family by interviewing the elders in their family, the grandmothers, their aunts, their parents, and just finding out these amazing stories. They put those stories together in these written pieces that we're going to share to you today. Please take a second again to like, share, and comment before we get started. Full disclosure right now, not all of our youth, their families felt comfortable sharing their personal stories. So here are some pieces that from the youth that do feel comfortable. I hope you enjoy. And let's get started. The first one up is actually a Villa Victoria resident. Her name is Isalyn C Swift, and she has a piece titled Nothing. Enjoy.
Nothing. Where the light goes out and the petals stop blossoming. Fires start burning and fog opens up. She opens her eyes, but she's stuck, trapped in a state of mind where everything eats her up. Everything is told to be a lie, but is it really? Told off by everyone for insanity, but what does it take for people to hear her side of the story? Lost in a void of nothingness, still trying to be found.
That piece was amazing by Isalyn C. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Next up, we have a piece by Gianni. Enjoy.
Silent struggles, the price of being biracial and never belonging to a single side. It's having the complexion and hair of one race, but being surrounded by the language of another. My grandmother embarked on a journey with my mother and her brothers from Puerto Rico, but never forgetting to water her spiritual roots or the stories and lessons that are told from our culture. The personalities of each individual in my family perfectly mixing together like the ingredients of sofrito, and my bittersweet personality stemming from a southern pecan pie.
Thank you very much for sharing that beautiful piece of art with us, Gianni. Next up, we have a youth that's been with us for a few cycles. He's a senior and he's on track to doing great things. Let's enjoy the piece by Jonathan Navares.
Puerto Rican heritage is a clash of multiple cultures. My land versus my reality. Our history ties as high as our mountains and as low as our oceans. My father built his own house and made it home. But my family seek better opportunities, more money, more stability, more chances. They believed it was possible to break chains. My father and my mother were not to blame for the struggles that came. From their sacrifices, I gained independence, chances, freedom to do whatever I wanted. But not really. These are just thoughts drilled into foreigners, drilled into young kids like I once was. Growing allowed me to see the truth behind my reality, the reality in which keeps repeating. I will use my values my family has taught me to break this endless of occurring reality, the last hope into turning my reality into their values.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. That was amazing. And thank you for sharing that beautiful story with us. Next up, we have a piece by a youth that's been with us for multiple cycles as well. Her name is Inesia. Enjoy.
Who am I is a question I don't know how to answer. In my eyes, I'm black and Hispanic, but sometimes I feel like I'm neither. Being mixed gives way to confusion. I'm like a melting pot with secret ingredients made of spices from Panama, Haiti, and Jamaica. I'm out of touch with my roots, but the idea of finding myself makes me want to dig deeper. My great-grandparents on my mother's side are unknown. The only thing I know about them is where they lived. They lived in Alabama with my grandmother and great aunt. They took my grandmother and great aunt to the corner store to get ice cream, but abandoned them. I don't know how my grandmother and great aunt survived, because my grandmother was a very closed person. She didn't like talking about her past, nor did she like talking about herself in general. My great-grandparents on my mother's side are unknown, and they will remain that way.
I hope everybody's enjoying the show. I know I'm enjoying these beautiful stories, these beautiful pieces. Honestly, I can't believe some of these are written by youth. It's super inspiring. Next up, we have a piece by Anika. I hope you enjoy it. She actually has multiple pieces. Her and the next artist actually have multiple pieces they're gonna share. So stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Who am I? Is a question that I have asked myself plenty of times. I know the basics, like my name and my ethnicity, but I need to know more. There's a part of me missing, something not lost, just not yet found. I want to know more about myself, the bloodlines that mixed and outflow through me, the features that have been so elegantly carved onto my face. This story is just beginning, something waiting to be seen, heard, and experienced. 22 years, 5 months, and 28 days. That's how long she worked at the United States Postal Service in South Boston. That's more time than I've been on the planet. She worked my whole life in the same place, in the same space, doing the same thing. She wasn't even from here. You see, she was actually born in Sawyerville, Alabama in 1930, one of 6 children, and she spent her childhood on a farm. She grew up in a tight-knit, very close family that lived healthily and peacefully. She got married and moved to Boston, where she already had family and settled. One of her daughters, my grandmother, was born in California and lived there for a bit before moving to Boston with her mother and 2 sisters. She would go on to have 3 kids of her own, including my mother. My great-grandmother was a wonderful person, a caring person. She worked hard, took care of others, owned 3 houses, and provided for both herself and her family. She was resilient and kind. She taught my mother and her siblings life lessons that are still with them today. Her wigs were always on point, and the memory of her nails that were almost always coated in a color like clear cotton candy is still fresh in my mind. She used to bounce me on her knees like I was a cowgirl, and sometimes just to get me to sleep. Other times she sang songs or told stories with meanings that were deeper than I could comprehend. She called us hard-headed and threatened to get the switch from the switch tree in front of our house when we misbehaved, but we never got it. I didn't get to experience her like my mother did. I didn't get to see her in her prime, but in some ways I did. She was like a friend, one who always supported you and didn't tell anyone that you broke a piece off the big plastic plant in the living room behind the couch. She sat with you and supported you and made you feel wanted. My great-grandmother's name was Narcissi Bakowitz. She was a strong and wonderful woman who I loved and was adored by those who surrounded her. She had a strong mother who I actually met to set that example for her, and she grew up to be an amazing daughter, mother, and friend. She helped start me on my journey to becoming the person that I am today, and I wouldn't be who I am without her. I had another grandmother as well. I did not get to see her in her prime either, but I did get to spend time with her. Her name was Isalyn C Swift, and she came here from Antigua in 1984. She came here with one of her 7 children, and she began working as a housekeeper. She raised my father to be the great man that he is, and was a wonderful mother and grandmother to all of her grandchildren. My older cousins and family members had more time with her than I did, and I wish that I was able to have those experiences as well. However, I did get the chance to see her and speak to her and receive things that she made me when she was crafting. I got to wear her earrings and eat the best bread pudding that I have ever had from recipes she recited from memory. I did not get to eat her cooking, but I have been able to experience the closest thing, eating the food made from recipes she taught my aunt. I had the chance to sit with her and watch Disney movies with her and push her in a wheelchair after we finished church service. I got to hear her hum songs and hymns and her compliment me and see her smile when I twirled my pretty church dresses. I miss her hands and her eyes and her presence because she made me feel grounded and warm and comfortable. She helped make my childhood better in ways that I did not realize at the time. Every time I think about them,
I wish that I had more time with them, that they had more time to see me grow and blossom as a result of their guidance, presence, and influence. I would not be here right now had it not been for their strength and kindness. They set the tone and set in stone for what strong women are. They left behind their teachings and knowledge, their recipes, and their hope for us as members of their families to flourish. I come from strong women, resilient, hard-working women. I, along with those who had the chance to experience them, miss them deeply, but are thankful that we were granted the chance to have them in our lives.
Tell me that wasn't great. Thank you very much for that, Anika. Next up, we have a piece by Namika. Thank you. Enjoy it.
This project comes from a descendant of the Laporte family. Second generation, and before you ask, we come from Haiti, a country that was the first to gain independence of its land, a place that is beautiful, where things are made by hand. The people are as interesting as their country's history. But unlike America's textbooks, I refuse to diminish my people's entity. This project will tell a story. Its intention is to help you know me. For the generations that follow me, I hope this helps. However, this is an opportunity for me to better understand myself. I've always had to prove that I belonged, because I'm Black, because they will always have the privileges that I lack. They wear their skin like an invisibility suit, hiding behind it their white lives. They'll never have to sacrifice the same things that my family has had to sacrifice. Without doubt, this is the reason why I always find myself burning out. Because from a young age, Black children, like me, are told that without education, we are nothing, even if it may sting. Anna, Anne-Marie, my great-grandmother who I love so much, whose words are so gentle, much like her touch. She was never able to go to school. Like the other Haitian women, she was to stay home and watch the kids. It was an unspoken rule. My great-grandfather was the one who worked. He started making good money and people began to lurk. They had maids who helped take care of the kids. They had a large house and dog. They were able to afford luxuries because of my great-grandpa's pawn shop. Anna knew way back then that education was key. Who would have known that so many years later, this ideology would be instilled in me? Perhaps it's in my blood. Perhaps it was just her wish. Maybe she just had a strong intuition. But clearly our connection goes deeper than the blood that binds us, layers deeper than skin. Though the story never began with me, the connections are great, I've come to see. However, I cannot wait for the day that I get to sit back, reminiscing my journey.
We're almost at the end of the show, but please stay tuned. We have two more beautiful pieces next. Next up, we're gonna bring back Anika to a personal piece that she titled Letter to Self. Check this out.
Anika, as you know, the past year has been as hard as it has been revealing. The feelings that we experienced and the realizations that we had were eye-opening and interesting. The stress and the sadness and the boredom and the anger and the terror and the overwhelming urge to shut down are all things that are natural. I know that you hate thinking of things in ways that are too similar to the patterns of thought in which other people think. I know how you feel and how you have felt about everything that has been happening in the world. I know how you want desperately to be someone you're not and escape the suit of flesh that you reside in. But you can't, and I will not allow you to. You can make changes. You already have, and you can continue to. You are not perfect. No one is. So stop holding yourself to standards that are not for you. Stop trying to think and be like the people who are not you. You are yourself and are your own. There's no reason to try to be someone else, as it will only slow your progress in becoming the person who you are destined to be. I know we have our mixed views on destiny, but you know what I mean. I know that you're tired of crying and the feeling of being lost and clueless and scared. But at the end of the day, it is okay to feel the way you do. There are so many things that you and I want to do, and the only way those things can be done is you and the choices that you make. If you want something, take it, live in the now, and stop spending so much time thinking about what you could be doing. Do what you can. I want you to live and laugh and give yourself the chance to do great things. If you need help, ask. Stop trying to do everything by yourself. Progress may be slow, and that is okay, because some progress is better than no progress. You have to try. You can't keep psyching yourself out of doing things that you really want to do. You can be like the people you admire who are out there doing what they love. You may not know what you love, and you may not ever find it, but at least you are looking for it. You may think or look back into your past, where I reside, and read this again and say that I never lied and that I never tried to, that I cared and that I wanted you to succeed and be the best version of yourself, that I loved you, just as I am hoping you love yourself, and even if you don't, it's okay. You are my future and the vision of it. I am you, but you at this point may not be me. And if you still are, I will still love you the same. You are bright and beautiful, and you are more than you may ever know or think that you are.
Tell me that wasn't great. That was amazing. Thank you very much. And we're going to close up today with bringing back Namika with a closing piece that she has based on her culture and her story. Thank you very much. Enjoy it.
We are the results of passed down teachings and practices of those before us, the products of our families. We may be young, but we hold so many memories. We are our future's greatest assets. We are more than our accents. We are more than the spices in our food, and we are sick of the way that we are viewed. We own our melanin and the struggles that it may bring, because at the end of the day, we are melanin queens and kings. And though we may not know who we truly are, we know that our destinies aren't that far, and that our society has left us scarred. Because it's left us questioning our futures. It's left us questioning our worth. It's forced us into believing that our education comes first, when it's really our connections and our legacies. But without access to proper education, we're left with nothing to eliminate racial disparities. And no, we don't want your pity. We just want change. We don't want your temporary movements, nor do we want to see your fake activism. Because for you, advocating for our basic freedoms is a phase. But for us, it's something that we'll never be able to escape. We've struggled to differentiate between fairy tales and reality, but we've found ways to cope. One day, the lines between the two won't be as blurry, I hope. We are the future, and without us young people, the world will never know peace. Maybe the day that we're allowed to hold office is the day that the violence will cease.
I want to just thank everybody that's tuned in today. Thank everybody that's commented, shared this project. Please stay tuned for more stuff. Check out our website on Iba. Stay tuned for Betances coming soon. A lot of good stuff on the way. Again, thank you very much for being a part of this. Thank you to all the youth. Thank you to all the sponsors, everybody that's made this possible. I appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your week and weekend. Have a good one. Bye.